In 10 seconds, we will be live, inshallah. Okay, greetings once again. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the International Open University Students Union hosting Mr. Modou Lamin Party. Mr. Modou Lamin Party is the current president of the Association of Gambian Students in India, a prolific speaker, a prolific debater, and a staunch educationist. We are indeed honored to have him on ground to go through such a very delicate and intense topic, the case of a tertiary scholar before and after. I indeed welcome all all dear guests and all viewers, and I indeed have the honor to welcome our dear presenter and our dear guest speaker, Mr. Modou Lamin Party. Inshallah, we will begin with the presentation. So, Mr. Modou Lamin Party, are we? Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Party?
I'm around. I'm with you.
Okay. So, Mr. Modou Lamin Party, the case of a tertiary scholar before and after. So, what will the case of a tertiary scholar entail in general?
Well, thank you very much for that. Once again, Assalamu alaikum to all the listeners. The quest of a tertiary scholar actually came as an inspiration from a personal point of view. And in life, the best teacher is experience. And we tend to have webinars to share those experiences. Whenever it resonates with you, then you can take it up and run away with it and utilize it in the best possible manner. So sometimes it may not resonate with you, or it may even be above your level or even beneath you as well. But that is how we human beings are. But the quest is that me being a student, also, there are certain things that would come to my mind that I would love to do. And certain things would also be there that you would not want to do. And you get into a mix of things that you don't actually know. Between choices and chances. I got the chance, let me just go and do it. Or should I choose between the options that are available? So the quest of a tertiary scholar would entail these things, and that is to be able to capitalize on the chances, but as well as having the person to choose between the available alternatives that are there. Sometimes we can be faced with alternatives that are not desirable, but like the quotation says, if the desirable is not available, then the available becomes a desirable. But it will be all governed by our choice to go ahead with this.
Thank you indeed, Modou Lamin Party. That was a great experiment on the concept of the general topic. Okay, indeed, that was a great experiment on the general notion and concept of the case of the tertiary scholar. Probably the phrase scholar probably will be something that resonates the general concept that most have, and probably echoed or mentioned, it probably directs the mindset of the general people for a specific notion. So will you like to expound on who is indeed a scholar? What is a scholar and what is indeed scholarship?
Thank you very much on that. I actually was very careful with the wordings because when you talk about scholarship, number one, scholarship in general towards a very basic understanding or common understanding is that we talk about scholarship, that is getting free education or your tuition fee waived and your accommodation, and then if possible stipends to be attached to that. So most of the time when we hear scholarship, this is what comes to our mind. But scholarship in the most literal form is the act of seeking knowledge. You get the point. So seeking knowledge, the person who is on that path of seeking knowledge becomes the scholar. Okay, but when you look at the scholar from the word school, you've been schooled, and when you gain the knowledge also, you school others. So it's a continuous process that, that when you get the knowledge, you also have to transfer. So that's why, in a basic sense, is that scholars, when we say, okay, Dr. Bilal Phillips, may Allah preserve him for us, when we say he is a scholar, okay, what that mean is he has gained knowledge and he is also transferring it out for people to benefit. All right. When you talk about other professors, other PhD holders, you call them scholars in the conventional world. Okay. These are also people that gain knowledge in their various disciplines, and they're transferring this knowledge to other people for them to benefit and learn.
So indeed, it can be summarized as scholarship is indeed a lifetime career, yeah, with tertiary education being a bridge that distinguishes it in levels. You have pre-tertiary, in-tertiary, and post-tertiary. So indeed, scholarship is indeed a life career. Okay, Mr. Mudalan Fati. So scholarship is indeed what everyone had or will have passed through the course of life. What will indeed be the cost or the many costs of a tertiary scholar within a tertiary institution bounded by tertiary predicaments? What will be the cost, the general cost, and the many costs that a tertiary scholar seeks in a tertiary institution?
Well, the quest can be subjective. Okay, I think I have my PPT. I think I'll have a chance to present, right? Hello, Mr. Chow, are you there with me? Mr. Chow?
Sure.
Are you there with me? Yes,
sure,
I was
Mr.
saying
Fati.
the quest can be subjective, but I try to be as general as possible just to make sure that everybody can have something to go home with. So I think I would have the chance to share my screen and then go ahead with the presentation. There, it's a detailed one that the quest of a tertiary scholar during and after.
Sure, Mr. Mudulami Fati, you can kindly go ahead with the presentation. I hope this will be an interesting one that all of us will indeed learn from.
Able to share the screen. I'm disabled. I can't share my screen. Can you make me a co-host, please? Chow, can you hear me?
Sure. You already a co-host.
All right. Let's see. What's up? Perfect. Sure. Is my skin visible to everybody?
Sure.
Great. All right. So
Okay. Mr. Fatih.
yes, I'm just trying to get this thing
Okay.
in a PPT format. Okay, so since this is, can everybody see it now?
Sure. Great.
Right, well, I wanted to play it, but that's a little bit missing. Chow, can you assist? Where can I play it, like to make it in a presentation mode? Because I can't see it. My F5 is not working.
Mr. Fati, why can you put your course at number 2? Hello, Mr. Fati?
Yes.
Yes.
Joe, give me a second. I'm connecting my laptop again. Joe, can you unmute my laptop and make me a co-host? Hello, Chow. Please unmute my laptop. Please, the other Modou Lamin Fati, can you unmute it, please? Chow, we are good to go? All right, cool. Very sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Sometimes things can be very rough with these technical things. So we will get into the presentation proper, and that is the quest of a tertiary scholar. And I would say, first of all, who actually has finished your primary education, you've gone to your high school, and now you are at the tertiary level. You are either seeking for a diploma or you were seeking for a bachelor's degree, or you were seeking for something of a higher in nature that can render you employable, or you make yourself, or you employ yourself to the outside world. But scholarship, the quest itself becomes a confusion for students because we tend to ask a lot of questions. Things will come into our minds, a lot of things. Family members would also be telling you, you got to do this, you have to do that thing. This is what is going to be the best for you. Your peers, your friends would also be influencing you. Or even if they don't influence you directly, but they would actually, they would actually influence you in a way that will show that you also feel that what I am doing is not the right thing. Just give me a minute. Excuse me. I'm in a meeting, please. You don't? No. Sorry. So fun. Society also expects something from you. I can remember I was at my grandmother, may Allah be pleased with her, passed away due to diabetes. My uncle once told me that in the family there could be people that would have that could be diabetic patients. Why don't you go and study medicine? You know, perhaps if such things happen, you could be one of those in the family who could render support at the early stage. But I was very frank and I said, well, I'm not a science person. I'm not a person who could be in the medical field. So those things are there, and then people have been put into studying things that actually is not what they actually wanted. I live in India, and those that know about India and the Asian world, most of them want their kids and their children to be engineers or medical doctors. So you cannot, there is no chance for you to be able to choose for yourself something else. You definitely have to be, you definitely have to be an engineer or so. So moving on, I would first want to make this interactive, and that is I would want to interact with the participants, and that is we can write in the chat box your expectations, because the quest of a tertiary scholar, some of us might have our own individual expectations that you want the speaker to actually dilate on. So you may want to write, we just have a minute to hear from people. That is also a way of me knowing people are actually listening to me. So can we have 1 or 2 people to just share your expectations with this topic? Let's make it interactive and as exchanging as possible. Yeah, I can follow the chat box. Yes, I was saying, Mr. Ibrahim Efalmane, I was saying your expectations with regards to the quest of a tertiary scholar. Sahar Qureshi is saying some good reminders. I will try my level best. Of course, there are reminders to share. Do we have only Ibrahim and Sahar Qureshi? They are the only ones listening. Motivations, Dauda Bojang, motivations, okay. Self-improvement and development, perfect. Great, so you can, let's keep it on the chat box. I'm following it, so we can have it interactive, and you can drop in your questions or write them down as the presentation goes so that you wouldn't forget, because a lot of things will be shared here and there. So that's it. I'll try my best to give you your expectations. Moving on then. But first, before we go, let's talk about the word quest, okay? Because when you're talking about something, we need to actually know what it means. Thereby, it will give us a guideline as to how we would approach this particular topic and understand the quest. So it will read that a quest is, you can look at the words that are highlighted. It's a journey. It's a journey that somebody takes to achieve a goal. So a journey is there, achieving a goal is there, and also that journey or that goal you want to achieve is an important task. So one has to, you need to achieve a goal that is an important task, because seeking knowledge itself is a journey that cannot be exhausted. We start seeking from knowledge every day we were born, we were schooled, and the environment, the life itself, our friends, our peers, the four corners of the classroom, a lot of other things, even the movement of the branches of the tree itself is teaching you something if you pay attention. So it's a journey. And also it is a long search. A quest is a long search for something difficult to find. So we are scholars, we are students of knowledge, we as students, when we are going to school, especially at a tertiary level, we are on a long search, because when you remember, some of us started from kindergarten. From kindergarten, you went to pre-primary, to primary, to junior, then to senior school, high school, then now you are at the tertiary level. So it's a long search. And even after your tertiary level, which we would discuss, that the options that you have, you keep learning every day. So what you are finding, the quest itself is difficult. It's difficult to find. And also what you are finding and what you want to achieve is also something difficult. So you keep on finding, you keep on running after it. And here I just want to remind that in this world, we are always running. We are always running after something. We are chasing something one after the other. Some are chasing money. Some are chasing women. Some are chasing for fame. Some are chasing for popularity. Whatever you think, whatever that resonates with you, we are always chasing. Okay, so that act of chasing is a long search. It's difficult. Sometimes you see somebody would be having a lot of money, but is chasing for happiness. The person is not happy. So you that is happy but does not have enough money, you'll be thinking that, wow, money is the happiness. So why isn't the person happy? Whereas that person is chasing for something that is difficult to find, or to achieving something that is very, very difficult. So depending on you, we are always chasing. And that chasing that we are doing, and that long search, it is in two forms. We have the positive long search, and we have the negative long search. And the Quran told us this. The negative long search is al-hakumut takathur hatta zultumul maqabir. So the competition, unhealthy competition that we are chasing all after, money, women, fame, happiness, whatever thing that we are looking for, or even men, we're chasing after everything negatively, and it is distracting us until we get to the grave, and there it is, all over. That is a long search that some are also engaged in. But the positive search is also there. So when you are on the positive search, you tend to see that even Allah himself would open his door for you. And he said in Surah Ankabut, okay, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. And those that will strive and struggle on our path, we will open our doors for them. So that is the positive search. And seeking knowledge is something that is of a positive quest, though long, though very difficult to achieve, but it is a positive quest when you do it in the right form and you are seeking the blessings or the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in it. So moving on, let's look at some example sentences. Nothing will stop them in their quest for the truth. And she went to India on a spiritual quest. So what is the quest during scholarship? this is where we would start to get into issues and understand exactly what is the quest during your scholarship. Because your scholarship, as we have said earlier from answering the questions of Mohammed Chow, and that is that you as a student, your quest is to study. That's simple. People would say it's simple for you to study. That is what you are looking for. That is what you are searching for you to study. Okay, get a good university, and then after you get that good university, you pass your grades, and then that's it. That's your quest. That is what I am looking for. But let's get inside to understand exactly what we mean by the quest of a tertiary scholar. It is something of a misnomer to equate scholarly quest to one, straight A's in university exams. This is a misnomer. This is a misconception that your quest should not be to have straight A's in your university exams. Because to have straight A's is easy. Remember that the quest is a long search. It is difficult. So getting straight A's, people might say that, okay, it's difficult to have A's. No, it's easy to have A's. But what is more difficult is what we will talk about. That should be the right quest of a tertiary scholar. So it is not supposed to be that you are looking for straight A's. Straight A's is cheap, it's easy. Everybody can get straight A's. And also, it is not supposed to be your quest to actually practice rotary form of learning. When we talk about rotary form of learning, what exactly comes is the learning of memorization. Only memory. You only memorize, you don't even understand. You get the point? Because what happens when you are engaging into only memorization, you are only stuck and limited to exactly what is there. When you miss anything, any punctuation, any letter, any spelling, any word, you cannot be able to apply what next is supposed to be done. So therefore, it is not supposed to be your quest to act the act of rotary form of learning. The third one is, it is also a misnomer to equate scholarly quest to imbibing too much information without corresponding knowledge of its applicability. Too much information without corresponding knowledge of its applicability. Because information is data, it's raw. What information you get from there, its applicability would actually determine how good that particular information is or not. So you as a tertiary scholar, whenever your teachers give you notes or you learn from any other place, you would have to look for an application for that particular knowledge. But if the knowledge is not applicable, then that is a definite misnomer, and nobody should actually look out for that as a quest of a tertiary scholar. So if this were one of the things that you were thinking in your mind, then that is a wrong concept. Because straight A's are easy. To memorize is easy. To get too much information is easy, but application becomes a problem. Because the quest is what? It is a long search. It is difficult to achieve. So therefore, we must invest ourselves in it. And then the fourth one is, it is also a misnomer to equate scholarly quest to the inability to transfer the knowledge gained to others to ensure continuity. Because knowledge that is gained, that is why I began to say that scholarship from school, when you gain, you share. So you are schooled, then you school others. So that ensures continuity. So if you actually imbibe information, if you have that rotary form, you memorize, you have straight A's, but you lack the ability to transfer the knowledge, that is not supposed to be the right quest of a tertiary scholar. So the knowledge you gain should be shareable. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, "Khairukum man ta'allama al-Qur'ana wa 'allama." That the best emergent, the best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and he teaches others. So teaching others is something of a noble action. And at this point, if you are a teacher, those are doing the IOU program, Bachelor's in Education, continue in it, be steadfast on it, and then may you have all the blessings that it comes with teaching and transferring knowledge. Because this is what holds the very fabrics of our society. If there were no teachers, how then would even our religion would come unto us? Because every prophet from Muhammad, from Adam to Isa, Jesus Christ, peace upon him, to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all these were teachers. So when they come, they get the information and they train. So if you want to be followers of these prophets, why don't you also engage into transferring knowledge? Moving on. So here we want to talk about the right quest. Okay. So the right quest here, looking at the picture on the other side, you see the lady is climbing. So it's a long journey still now. We are still, that is why we had to go through the definition, the basic level, and understand that it is a journey, very difficult. Some may become dropouts. And when you become a dropout, it's not bad. It's not bad to be a dropout, because we are living at a time whereby being confined in the four corners of a classroom is not actually what defines scholarship. So some scholars are there that never sat in the four corners of the classroom. Some were also dropouts. At the end of the day, the scholarship is wide and not only confined to a classroom. It can even be a library scholar. I've got people in the Gambia, I can give examples, that were dropouts, but today, some of them are even running for office in the country. Some of them actually are giving us the grade of services that even some who are already confined and graduate with their gowns and providing for us. So therefore, the right quest is to aim at one, mastering your field of studies. Now, this is a very big term. Nobody can master. That is why when you look at it, it is in its continuous form, mastering. So mastering is a continuous process. It is not something that you can actually just get. Give me a second, please. No, guys, I'm in a meeting, please. I'm in a meeting. Sorry. All right, so moving on, mastering your field of studies. I'm very sorry for those interruptions. I live in a hostel, people knock at my door. So mastering your field of studies, you can't master it, but you can be on that quest and be on that process of mastering your field of studies. So that is what we scholars, or we students of knowledge should be aiming at. Because when you master your field, you may see people that are vibrant in the university. Check around IOU there. Those that are vibrant and they're very flexible, they can get you in and out. They can explain to you stuff, even some other courses that they are not part of their core curriculum. But they can be flexible to navigate inside and out. These are not students that have straight A's. These are students that have straight A's. These are not students that actually memorize everything. Some of them actually, they submit their assignments late. I'm not encouraging you to submit your assignment late, but they have a priority, and that priority is understanding and mastering that field. That is what is more difficult than actually getting straight A's or actually, memorizing the whole note. Those that are online here, those that are joining us that are in India, Indians are very good at memorization. You see, somebody can pour the whole college with a book. Within 30 minutes, it's done. The syllabus is in the head. But at the end of the day, the benefit is actually not there to show off. Moving on, we say that part of the quest is the right quest. You aim at diagnosing, establishing a problematic. Let's say Mohammed Chow is a, let's say Mr. Chow is a computer science student or an IT student. So when you are on the quest of mastering your field, you would be pushed or you would be exposed to some of the problems related to that particular field. For example, people are crying for internet connectivity in the Gambia. So when you are studying IT, how can that problem lead you to mastering your field? It is not only that you are aiming for straight A's, you can actually speak about the second edition and the third edition of the latest textbook that comes out. No. But in your environment, how then can you be able to navigate and also understand that this is my field of study and these are the problems that are there in the society? Because development has to be in line with the psychology of the people. So when you look at the behaviors of the people, you tend to actually relate that particular behavior, the problem, the unavailability of this particular facility or service is something that is related to what I am studying. But sad it is when you ask some tertiary students, what are some of the 5 problems that you can provide solutions for in your area of studies? Hardly, these are the real examination questions that are supposed to be there. Not the advantages of a mouse or what is a monitor, what is a keyboard. No. These are some things that you have to be able to diagnose and establish a real fundamental problem in your society and relate it to your course study. And you know what is the benefit of that? When you get to the classroom, when the teacher is teaching, or in the case of an IOU, when you're looking at your recorded lectures, when once the teacher is explaining, you have already related it to a problematic, and solutions will start to click in your mind. And you are studying. That is the right quest. Then you actually be able to practicalize what you are learning. It becomes interesting because it's real. But if it actually becomes just to come memory, I need to do module tests, I need to be able to complete in time and stuff like that, at the end of the day, you are not marketable. You are not marketable. The next one is engaging into the possible search of a possible utilization of the gained knowledge. If the knowledge you gain cannot be utilized, then it's no knowledge. If the knowledge you gain is not able to reflect in the side, first of all, is not able to reflect on yourself, then that's no knowledge. If the knowledge you gain is not able to reflect by extension to your immediate environment, that's no knowledge. So therefore, we should be able to search and understand, where can I apply this knowledge? Like IOU has a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. This may be a field very, very, not very common to the Gambian academia, because most people may not be engaged in it, because it may be related to, madness. Because this is the only time we think people need psychological support. Okay? We talk about studying psychology, they said, okay, the first place you gotta go is Kampama, or Tanka. So, but you as a psychology student, when you engage into research, there are a lot of psychological issues in our society that your studies can be able to provide solutions for that. So this should be your quest. If you look at it, it's not easy, but that is the meaning of quest from the get-go. But it is long, it is difficult to find, and it is difficult to achieve. Because why? This has to do with real life things that you see. After every module that you study, look at that module and see how best it can be reflected in your society. So you should be able to master and engage into its applicability. For example, those that are studying economics, we used to define a market as a place where buyers and sellers come to contact. This is what all textbooks will tell you. But that old textbook is actually not cognizant of the realities of today. So therefore, if you engage into possible utilization of that knowledge of a market before, you will know that this 21st century, the dynamics have changed. So nobody should define a market as a place, but market would then be an avenue, not a place. Because now people can sit in the Gambia, download the mobile app. I will talk about some of these startups when I move on. Now, take a mobile phone, download an app, and connect to restaurants of your choice and order food, and it will be delivered to your house. Yes, it's happening. It's in the Gambia. I wouldn't tell you can be in the Gambia and order from Dubai, but these are some of the things we also need to be able to boost our import substitution industries, because I'm a fan of that. I always talk about import substitution. So people, that technology is there. The person who came up with that idea diagnosed the problem. And in fact, at KMC, they did a pitching competition where part of the things that they were actually looking at is the e-commerce sector, and they gave fundings for it. If you remember, I don't know, some of you are following those things, Lejumbo was one of those that won. Lejumbo, what they do is their type of business is also like e-commerce. They connect you with the mini markets and supermarkets that are there. They deliver for it. So engage into that. So market will no more become a place. It was going to be an avenue. So therefore, you can only get to know this thing when you know the possible utilization. Because if you start studying things that are not applicable in your environment, it's zero. Like we had a webinar before. They were talking about the political science subject at the University of the Gambia. Our friends, our brothers, our sisters are studying some international politics that has nothing to do with the very basics of Gambia. The accounting students are studying a taxation system that is of the British. We don't know how GRA is taxing us. Even employees, some of them, they just tell you, this is the percentage of the tax you're paying, and that's it, it's done. We don't even know. So these are all knowledge that should be an interest for scholars. And these scholars is me and you. And then the quest is also, you should aim at satisfying your curiosity. Who is the scholar who is not curious? You should be curious, you should be hungry to gain more and explore. And exploring does not mean you already go and study an existing one, but exploring also means the one that you gain, how best you would be able to turn it around and fit it in an in an environment that is totally alien to your understanding. That is how people will move on. But not only, okay, I am curious to find out, you go and get somebody's research paper and stuff like that, you look at it. No. Look at it in your perspective. Okay, everybody says this is how this is used. But how about if I use it this other way? Today, the mobile phone, if you tell anybody what is the sole purpose of a mobile phone, is to make a call. Make calls, communicate. But somebody might have thought, the likes of Alibaba, thought that, okay, this mobile phone or this computer or this internet, I can be able to connect with somebody from a different country and is able to buy something from me from China here and I'll export it to them. So this is curiosity. So it's not only curiosity to only look at something, okay, I'm going to be looking at lectures. No, construct yourself a different environment, a different issue of its nature, and then you implement what is there as a test. So this will bring me to medical lab science students. So if you're a medical student or you are an RN nurse, or you have a friend that is an RN nurse, and you are giving medicine to people, engage in the research on your own. That is what white people are doing. They create a disease and provide a medicine for that disease and then put it into the market. I am one of those who believe that COVID is a man-made thing. And that is why they are only able to hire and tell us, you know, in the next 6 months, there's going to be a third wave. How is it possible? Even in the Gambia, we were threatened at some point that in the late 2020s, I don't know, years, that around in the summer, that, you know, it's going to, the number of people that are going to be infected is going to skyrocket. How did they know that? If not for something that they have already planned. So we as scholars also should be able to engage into satisfying our curiosity by creating something and also providing them remedy or the solution of that particular thing. That is the only way we would be able to be vibrant scholars and we will fulfill the right quest of being a tertiary student. A tertiary student on the right quest should be able to solve problems. A tertiary student or a tertiary scholar who is on the right quest should be able to be dependable. Dependable not only by assignments, you can write a whole page within 30 seconds. No, dependable in real problems and providing real-time answers. Believe you me, when you get to the job world, the interview room, perhaps they may ask you about if you're an accounting student, when you have this transaction, how are you going to go ahead with that? But when you get to the office, working itself is a whole complete different world of its own. So therefore, vibrance, mastering your field of studies, diagnosing and establishing a problematic, engaging into the search of possible utilization of the gained knowledge, and satisfying your curiosity. If you are with me and these things are clear, please put in the chat box clear. You can type clear in the chat box. It will also let me know that we are all alive and we are here doing well. Yes, you can put up in the chat box. You still have some things to show. You can put clear if that resonates with you. Yep, let's engage. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we are alive. Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, we are alive. Should fuel your curiosity. Because if you don't have passion for something, then you cannot be curious to try. You cannot. So Anthony J. D'Angelo said, develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. You will never cease to grow. And when you grow, passion will lead you there. Develop a passion for learning. And if you grow, passion will lead you there. So it is not something that you are forced. It is not something that you were influenced or you were caused to do. It saddens me when people are in their final years or even doing their master's degree, they don't actually know what is next on their schedule. They don't know. At all. Able to decide what you want to do and how you can get it. It's not only I want to become this, no, but how to get there. What should I put on the table to get there? But not only, yes, I want to do this, I want to study this, but okay, you want to study this. How can you get it? What must you do to get there? Is it only by talking and announcing it? No. It is to do something. It is to burn the midnight candle. It is to network. It is to look at people. It is to get influence from the right people. It is to get great company. But you must do something together. Not only to announce it. When you love it, you do it. And when you do it, you grow. And when you grow, passion will get you there. Yeah, thank you, Sahad Qureshi. Yeah, the purpose of life. We must have a purpose. You don't have to be like what my father would say. Anybody you're just like a bag. Kunyo rek daf la en re yobula. Ngelo be sure mu fufula mu yobula ni. Would make this way, you also go that way. So we shouldn't be like that as scholars, as tertiary students. So we must have a purpose and we must have a passion that will lead us to achieving a long journey. Because the journey is so long that if you don't have a passion, you are kicked out. That is why some people say, today I am studying this. Like my personal story, before in 2015 when I graduated, I went to MDI straight. I was studying SSA for 6 months. But I had no passion for accounting. I had no. I was in the classroom, it's like, and high school, I got accounting A, alhamdulillah. But when I was in the classroom, in the SSA class, it's like the teacher was speaking Chinese to me. It's not actually what I wanted to do. So most of us all pass through those systems. But at the end of the day, it is never too late to find yourself, dust up, when you fall down, dust up, and just move ahead again. All of you know, buyon jeexul waxusil du jeex. Ay boy soxantu di dox ndank do ci aga de. Do ci aga. So now we are going to get into the reality itself, and then its application. If you like, you can talk about the process of you getting after your tertiary scholarship. And let me put this note here is, when we say after your scholarship, your tertiary education, it is just for us to be able to express the definitiveness of the time frame that you have from being a tertiary scholar. Because when you want to get a bachelor's degree, my bachelor's degree here is 3 years. Some of yours are 4 years, some are 5 years, it depends. So this after is in conjunction with the time frame laid down for the particular course that you are doing. But definitely, like we said earlier on, that the scholarship is something that continues, it does not end. So when reality kicks in, these are the two things that scholars are going to be faced with. Students. So at this point, Mr. Chow, if you can allow one or two people to unmute themselves and attempt answering this question, what is the difference between these two? If you get the right answer, I do certain services and I will give you a giveaway for free. We have a team. I do script writing, commercial. I can help you develop your CV as well, which I charge. People pay for me for that. And then voice over as well. Voice over record, which a recent one that I did for Jai Oil. So these three services, you can choose the one that you want me to do for you if you get this answer right. One, to help build your CV for you. Second is to be able to write you a script of a commercial nature. And then third one is if you want a voiceover that I can, and let me get a fourth one. If you want to discuss your business idea, I try my best to develop business plans, excluding financials because I'm not good at finance. So these four categories, if you get this answer right and explain to me what is the difference between these two, I'll definitely pen your name down and we'll share my email and we can be in contact and you can tell me which of the services would want me to do for you for free. Yes, can we have people unmute themselves? What is the difference between these two?
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sahar Rashid. I believe that one is running for the world and the other one is doing a job for the spreading the knowledge for the sake of Allah, being a scholar, treasury scholar, the way you said it. And that's the difference I feel.
Okay, thank you, Sahar. Any other try? Any other try? Come on, guys. Let's interact. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I am Ibrahim Esselman. My understanding of these two pictures is the other one is being employed and the other one is like an employer. Like this one, the other one with the back, hand in the back is an employee and the other one sitting on the desktop is an employer, to my understanding.
MashaAllah. This is the American block about that is the answer. Exactly as how but the one that is there is sitting smiling already, you know, peace and I think I got kicked out, but my connection is coming back. Please bear with me. My laptop is misbehaving.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, meanwhile, before the speaker gets connected in, meanwhile, participants can drop their questions on the chat bar. Make good use of the chat box, and questions can be dropped. And at the later part, or at the tail end of the program, questions will be directly asked to the speaker. Jazakallahu khairan to all participants utilizing the chat box. Meanwhile, the speaker will be in few moments.
Mrs. Emma, you good? Yeah. No, I had only
Now, can you allow me again so I can share the screen?
Okay.
Are you there with me? Can I share now?
Sure. Good.
All right, great. For that, you know, it needs to be a country of activity, and I don't know why mine is just trying to here. Anyways, so that is it. That's about that. The person running because you are employed is running for a job, but the one is already an employer. Okay, so that is why whether being an employer or starting an employment, somebody is not muted. Can we ensure all mics are muted because of the distraction? Chow, I think it's your area. All right, great, thank you. So whether you are going to be running after you are faced with two things, because part of the quest of a tertiary scholar is to get a job. That is the common one. After my education, after what I am, my degree or my master's, I should get a job. This is the common thing that most of us are looking after. Hardly that we will have people participating in this webinar today who will tell you that I am actually looking at something different to create and, be my own boss. Hardly. People will attribute it to a lot of things. They will attribute it to, in Gambia, we cannot get finance, we can get things and stuff like that. So we cannot start ourselves a business. But that's a whole topic of its own. But you as your tertiary scholar, what is your question now? Placement or startup? What are you thinking of? Okay. So placement, you can get, placement can teach you 100 lot of things. You can get a work experience. Okay. They can teach you organizational work culture. These are things you can gain when you seek employment. Time conscious, meeting deadlines, and stuff of that nature. And also you would be disciplined in terms of the work that you were doing. This is what, when you go to a workplace, at least they should be able to teach you these things. They should be able to teach you how to get, the work experience. Because even if you want for a higher position, they still tell you, we want a person who has got 5 years experience in this particular position. So this is what employment will gain you. And some people, this is the excuse that they would give, that I don't want to start up, I don't want to get into a startup, or I don't want to start something for myself because I cannot start up a company if I don't have a work experience. I cannot start up a company if I don't have organizational work culture, if I'm time conscious, meeting deadlines and discipline in that nature. Okay, but if you have all of this, okay, if you have the discipline, if you have the work culture, if you have the time consciousness is in you. Okay, what are you waiting for? Start while you're studying, because college would be, or university would be, a safety net for you. You wouldn't be the one to be looking after getting a job, because getting a job also, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but try after you are a master, because if you look at the presentation, it's actually leading us to somewhere. If you are a master in your field, if you're able to diagnose a problematic from that particular study, if you're already able to identify a workable environment for application of the knowledge you've gained, then you should be able to provide a solution, and a solution that you can monetize, which is the ultimate goal of, in fact, seeking employment for. So therefore, I would encourage each and every one of us, be masters in our studies, diagnose the problematic, scan the environment and look at where it can be applicable, provide a monetized solution. And that monetized solution is the startup you are building. Number one, you will be solving the issues of the problem. And number two, you are creating impact in the society. And that is even, in fact, rewardable. Because when you are studying, for example, you are into the medical field, And then people actually, they would want to do their BP test and stuff like that. You know, they cannot get their blood pressure. Those that are in the psychology, and others, the psychology student, because I understand, I can remember at IOU, we used to have, is it bazaar, charity bazaar thing. And in that charity bazaar, the psychology student would be doing the JAMA and also the BP testing, the weight and stuff like that. That's a business idea, guys. It's not supposed to be something you can do that whilst you are studying. What you can do is get the BP machines and everything that you can have in your community, charge them. Tell them that if Shobuge Hamsa's sugar level and stuff like that, charge them $50 is $100 is per test. And then you advise them. You cannot prescribe medicine, but you just charge it while you're studying. It is something that can actually grow after your graduation. So what would be as a benefit is early start, early fail. Because why? You are already studying and you have started something. So even if you fail, you have failed at the right time. Because your university time is still what? A safety net for you. So please, psychology student, I want people to run away with this idea. Take it, get the BP machines and stuff, go to your communities, charge them at a reasonable price, and then you get their blood pressure test and you get their temperatures and everything, and advise that you can go to the hospital or not. Seem to also have a mobile ambulance. So that mobile ambulance, what they would do is once you need them, you just call them. Then they will just come and pick you up, and then inside the ambulance, before you get to the hospital, they will give you the first aid facility. This idea is a workable idea even in the provinces, because before they actually, it's going to be a first aid service, and that first aid service, before they would sit down until the sickness would be worse in their system, you would have provided that service for them to fagaru balafaju. So look at it at that level. Early start, early fail. So let us all have it in our mindsets that, okay, after my graduation, there is no employment. Inflation in the Gambia today is about 5.9%. It's also on the right. So even if the government is on deficit financing, and that deficit financing is on consumer goods, create it ourselves. You don't need to say, okay, I have to start up a company and I get a huge amount of money. I need a huge amount. No. Start from whilst you're studying, because it's also a quest. It's a long journey. That company that you're building, that health system that you're going to call it, whatever name or fanciful that you want to give it a name, it's a long journey. It might go to a point whereby it becomes a fully fledged company with employees, because a quest of a tertiary scholar is a long one, difficult to achieve and difficult to conquer. So early start, early fail. So start up whilst you're studying, because one, you would have the lowest pressure on yourself. Not too much of dependency. Even if you are married, but you are still going to school, I'm sure couples that are married and you're still going to school, they have that understanding and their priorities and preferences with regards to their self-development. So therefore, there is no too much pressure on you. And the best one is the one who is not even married, a bachelor like me. So my voice is, am I good now, I guess? Yeah, I guess I'm good now. Yeah. So start whilst you are studying. You don't have any pressure. And you have ample time to network and validate your idea because you have not yet got outside. You are on the path, and this stage is at your final year, not when you start coaching. So at your final year is a gate for you to get to the real world. So you tend to choose between what? Placement or getting a startup. So ample time to network and validate your idea. Because you can always supposed to be a student and get in any company or meet up with any individual and say, I am on a study research. Improve more of the WhatsApp we are using today. WhatsApp is from a classroom. Students, they dropped out and saw that, okay, we have to do fast. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, the same thing, dropped out and saw that I have to do something for my. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, good. So ID can come out anywhere. Samsung came from war, Japanese war. After the Japanese war and everything here and there, then they had to come out and develop a company, Samsung. Today, Samsung everywhere is competing. So let's get it done whilst we are studying. And when you are studying, this is very interesting, and I'm sure all of you would agree with it. You would have a wealth of resources, free internet service. When you are a startup owner whilst you are studying or on your verge of leaving, you can have at IOU building right now. Chow is connected at IOU, I guess, right? Exactly. Free internet, the library is there, books are there that you can read. It's free for you. People hold their meetings at the IOU building, who will charge you? And these things were supposed to cost you a huge amount of money if you were actually going to invest it in outside. Imagine the rent that you were going to pay. Imagine the computers you were going to use. And IOU provides you an club. Since we have no other excuse than to invest on ourselves and see how best we can start something small. When we graduate, we see how best we are to continue with this startup and then create something for ourselves and employment, or to actually just finish and apply for a job and go. And even that also you have to prepare yourself because you have to be competitive. Remember, if you are not a master, somebody is a master. If you actually don't master your program, or if you are not on the verge of mastering your field of study, somebody is on the verge of mastering it, so you wouldn't be comparable to that person. Then it becomes a long and difficult journey. So you have a choice. Engage into the startup, put it part of your quest. When it all crumbles, when it all fails, then you have to settle with placement. Easy cheesy. So I'm encouraging all of us to start up something. It's also part of the quest, mastering the field, diagnosing a problematic, and that long journey and everything. The ideas that you have, the problem is Gambia, we have ideas, but we cannot monetize our ideas. People die with the ideas. We cannot monetize it. We cannot put it, we can't ask people for money. Sometimes there are certain things that we should actually charge people for, but we are doing it for free for them. All in the name of our, don't worry, Allah will reward us. The next day, what would happen? You are broke. Or you are the grumble employee. Always talking about what? The salaries have to be increased. We don't have to get this. The bonus is supposed to be given. And before you become a grumble employee, why don't you create something with opportunity? So that is supposed to be part of the quest of a tertiary scholar. So your startup, just a little bit brushed down. To validate your idea at the idea challenge, because some people say, okay, now, okay, all right, I have this idea, but how am I going to get this? You have different ideas at the initial stage. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. What if I do this? So you have tools that you can use to validate your idea. You can use SWOT analysis. I hope we all know what SWOT analysis is. Great. You can use the idea validation metrics. That is also another tool that you can use. And put your ideas in on the basis of preferences. Attach numbers to it and then look at which one which will give you a higher return on this cost. Then you can go ahead with that. But what is important is at this stage, quest of a tertiary scholar again is to find a right co-founder. What happens is in the Gambia, most businesses or most people that get into startups want to be the CEO and you don't want any partnership. This cannot go. Nobody can stand alone. You know, they will say no man is an island. Chow is studying IT. Okay. Somebody is studying business administration. Why can't Chow and the student of business administration come together and create an e-commerce platform? You can do it. Chow does not have to worry himself get an employment. So the business administration student should also worry himself or herself for employment. Come together, put your ideas together and then talk about it. Chow said, okay, I am good with networking, I'm good with programming, I can set this way and stuff like that. The other one is business oriented. I can do marketing, I can help you with the human resources, I can help with this. You put what and what this other one is an expert, and you put them together. We have a lot of poultry owners in the Gambia that are failing. Through YEP, Youth Empowerment Project. You apply, you want to be a poultry agent, they give you resources and you go with your 100 chicken or 200 chicken, you also start at your place. Somebody also 200, 300, you don't let them plus me. And you are all competing in a market where you are not protected. Startups are not protected. You are not protected. So how can you get protected? Is to create a platform for yourselves and partner. Because the startup that is there with chicken, you are just covering a very small fragment market. Or in fact, we are all competing with the same market that is not actually a good number. When you put your poultry businesses together, you are able to cover a market that is of a big one and diverse. Everybody can be well off. So that is when we can put pressures that nobody should import chicken outside. We have local people that are actually making it. But all that is possible with the right co-founder. Build a strong team that understands the journey to the goal. Because you are on a quest as a tertiary student. You don't want to pick any Tom, Dick, and Harry and say, come on, you are my friend, so let's go ahead. No. The way you will sit down single-handedly and write that job application letter and get into that interview room alone is the same way you should prioritize and understand that when I'm starting up a business and getting up a team, I should get somebody who actually understands the journey to the goal. Our friendship can maintain, nothing can be wrong with it. This is about shaping your life. This is about shaping who you want to become. It's a means where you're working to better, to well of yourself. Funding ecosystem. This is where a lot of students would, a lot of people would cry and put the blame there that, okay, there is no funding. So if there are no fundings, how can we go ahead with it? Funding is the last thing always. It is always the last thing. Why? Because you have not engaged into the first steps yet and you start crying for funding. If somebody comes and tell you, okay, now I want to give you $100,000, what would you do with it? $100,000, okay. You go and spend that $100,000 on recording cost. Because first thing say, okay, I'll think about renting. My rental cost is going to be this. I'm going to buy a computer. I'm going to employ. These are all recurring costs. But start up something whilst you're studying. Why? Because you already have an infrastructure already built. The IOU is there. Use it. The internet is for the students. Engage into research. The library is there. If you want to meet your clients, tell them I am going to class. Meet me at IOU after Salah time. Have your meeting and you all go. Are you paying rent? No. Rental cost is outside. It's down. So therefore, we cry of things that actually we have control over. Sometimes it is very, very difficult to get funding and stuff, but certain times we ourselves are ready to actually look into our idea and convince people to put in their money in it. So you can, the funding is of two types. First of all, in your startup, you should be able to know how to get the customer's money. Believe you me, there is no business if that money did not hit your account. No, there is no business. If they did not pay you and tell you, yes, received, there is no business. Okay, somebody tells you and they, yeah, okay, if you do this thing, I will buy the product. That's no business there. If they pay already, and then you know the business has occurred. But how do you, the other type of the funding, the other part in the funding ecosystem is the seed money. That is the capital that you need to start your business. A lot of startups would want to cry at this age, but you have other schemes like the equity financing. Like you, for example, you have a business idea, and you can go and then meet somebody else and tell them, okay, this is the idea that I have. And this is the share I can give you there. If you give me $10,000, you can own 10% of the business. Fine. Somebody will tell you, okay, I want to start up of this business, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So just give me this, and then I will give you this. You will own. So that is how people are getting it done also. And the other one is competition. Right, the KMC I talked about, they organized a competition. It was about $1 million. So right now, as students, imagine if we had already set up a business and then it's already there, and that competition comes up, you can always go there and pitch. And when you pitch, you'll be able to get some money. And it's a seed money. It's money that is supposed to grow. It is not going to be enough, but at least it can even cover some of your operational costs. And this competition also, Mr. President, you are listening, as a student organization in a university, teaching some commercial areas and even other areas that can be monetized, because the startup is not only about monetize. You can see I'm giving example to psychology students. You can get example from teachers. So even any system, you can always monetize whatever field that you are. So Mr. President, I'm just requesting, I'm just suggesting, when you engage with the IOU administration, tell them to build an entrepreneurship cell. When you build an entrepreneurship cell, every time you are meeting great businessmen, startup owners that are doing well in their different fields, you invite them for guest lectures and also use them as mentors to guide your students who may want to engage into business after graduation. And then so in Am I audible? Yeah, good, I'm audible, good. So, in the competition also, IOU can put a budget aside for pitching competitions. And they would be able to guide these students when they win this pitching competition that could be used as seed money for them to also start up things. This is what other great universities are also doing. That they organize pitching competitions within and then task the students to come up with their business ideas, usually when you are in your final year. So they can put aside and then give 50,000 to 50,000 can help you start up something. $25,000 can help you start up something. At least that motivation itself is enough for you to be able to start up something, and then, rather than running after employment. So finally, your quest as a tertiary scholar is not to have a gallery of graduation gowns or have straight A's or a memory of information. But your quest is to master your field of studies after already diagnosing a problematic, think and map out a solution that can be money and create an impact in your society. You can also monetize your solution by being an outstanding employee. So I repeat, your quest as a tertiary scholar is not to have a gallery of graduation gowns, class of 2022, class of 2021, and graduate done. That is not your quest. Your quest is not also to have straight A's. Your quest is not to have only a memory of information, but your quest is to master your field of studies after already diagnosing a problematic, think and map out a solution that can be monetized and create an impact in your society. You can also monetize your solution by being an outstanding employee. Because you have to be an outstanding employee for you to be the one who's going to be the favorite. I want to end with two startups that can give us motivation in the Gambia. And one is Chops Mobile app. I don't know them, I'm not related to them, so nobody should conclude that I'm doing marketing for them. But I just brought them up.
Well, will that be a signification of you being a chapsa?
No, it's for the Manakunanka. It's for the Manakunanko and the Sanakunang and the dramas. This is for them. Yeah, the Mana.
I hope the programmer of such a software did the chapsas a great favor.
Of course, especially the Manakunankas and the Sanas. You know, we are fatis. We are always good with the, you know, the dhikr and everything. We are not into too much food. We are not into too much food, you know. For us, we are always fasting, alhamdulillah, you know. In fact, this what I'm drinking itself is. In fact, let me just pack it aside.
It's suhoor, right?
Exactly. It's suhoor. Perfect. So we have a Chopsa mobile app in the Gambia. The Gambia's first restaurant delivery company, prone to deliveries. You know, it runs errands. You just connect, download it. You can go. I think it's on Google's place. I tried to download it here, but it said that I'm out of service. I mean, I'm out of the jurisdiction, so I can't download it there. I mean here. So you guys in the Gambia can try this, but I'm not putting it here for you to go and order on the app, but I'm putting it out there to tell you that this person, whoever he is, has diagnosed a problematic in the Gambia, in our environment, that people would want to order online and not go and dine at the restaurants. And in fact, this is a good pragmatic idea in these present times of the COVID-19. So you don't have to expose yourself outside, but you can be at your comfort of your zone, at your comfort zone, and then you just order and it gets delivered. So that is a problematic. And the idea is there, and here he monetized it and called it Chopsa. And Chopsa is so much Gambian that the moment it showed, chow became tasty and his appetite became wet. So it became Chopsa. So that is how I want us to think along that line as the quest of a tertiary scholar. Master your field, diagnose a problematic, look at the environment, how applicable it can. This can have a lot of challenges. I know they may have done their analysis and everything, internet issues and blah, 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 a lot of things. They must have, but at least they have started. Okay, so look at the things they're providing. You have 3 chickens of and a grill for 200 rasses, intercontinental delivery, you know? So different restaurants, you have Aladdin restaurant, you know, Middle Eastern food is there. So there is free delivery, and that free delivery, there is cash on delivery also is available, which you would have to make the payment once it delivered to you. So I understand they're even trying to also get in line with money and Kodo mobile money so that you can also be able to make your payments online. Now, as much as with all their negatives and everything, but they are cognizant of the environment that everybody cannot go to the Nawek station and buy cash power. So today you can be at your office and use your Kodo mobile money and buy cash power and send it to your people. So let us think that the world is moving. Let's forget thinking about big. These are problems. Look at your environment. Malit is a problem. But who are the people in our societies? It's people that are from Mali. You know, Mali and yeah, most Mali, because when I was the people that come out from Mali. So when they come, they have their donkey carts and a very big sack, and they provide, in as much as KMC is also providing in the Kanifi municipal area, but KMC cannot cover all the Mali present in that society. Why can't we also get there, get it ourselves, tell your family or from your little savings, buy 2-3 donkey carts and then hit it up. You may not be the one to get there, but you may provide employment for 3 people. 1 donkey can buy you 2 donkeys. But we don't want the stereotype. Hey, Mula Fati de Aranta India Facet and San Francisco, wala mala doku. But that Falesato, si futu na fulo dinna. That Falesato. And that Falesato voice is now. So that's about the Chopsa mobile app. And then the last one that I want to show you is another start. And this is Ngelma Construction Services. And the story of Ngelma is very, very interesting. The CEO is actually a student. I mean, he's an international student by the name Modou. I know him. He was studying in India here, but because of these online classes, his university, because of this COVID, his university is doing things online. So while studying, he has a startup construction company, and he even bids government contracts. He bids government contracts, and then he even won some during the Jammeh era. So it is not, and he is a very young man, perhaps 27 or 28. So what you do is master your field understand that you need the right team. And most of his team are also students. Students from where? From GTTI. So these people will not ask you for too much money on salary. No, because they are also students. You make them understand the goal. You start. Then at that point, nobody is interested in wealth or big cars. Now I am the CEO of this company, I need a car. No. So get the right people, get the right team, and your quest after, you have two things. And that is to go for employment, I mean to employ the people, start up something, or you run for employment. When you run for employment, then you are there with the competition, the application letter, the interviews, everything is there for you. But I'm not discouraging it. Perhaps myself, after my studies, I may come and you see me as an employee. Who knows? But I'm sure all of you are seeing behind my screen, and the template that I am using shows that I am not also trying to focus more on the employment side. It's trying to do something for yourself. And that is the message that I think I can share with my brothers and sisters. So if it relates well with us, then we can get to the question and answer session. Jazakumullahu khaira.
Ameen wa jazakallahu khairan. Indeed, well presentation. Justice has been done to the topic. I hope, inshallah, all participants fully benefited. Once more, thanks again, presenter, Mr. Modou Fati. We now have the Q&A session, question and answer session. So, inshallah, participants can now utilize the chat box in posting out questions that they will want the speaker to directly answer. Okay, Mr. Fati. Meanwhile, before we have our participants throwing in their questions, probably I can engage you in a series of questions that revolve around the topic presented.
Sure.
But firstly, I hope I will jokingly say, hope the cash for a tertiary scholar, the solution provided, hopefully it wouldn't be a bit entrepreneurial bias. Hope it wouldn't be a bit bias on your side, considering that you doing your BBA in in business administration and a staunch entrepreneur. So hope the solutions provided for the cash of a tertiary scholar wouldn't be a bit entrepreneurial bias.
I make it a very, very general one. One may say strongholds. Like you already mentioned, my strongholds on the commercial side and into entrepreneurship and business. But I feel being an entrepreneur does not have to mean that you have to be a BBA student. Social entrepreneurs like what Ummah Foundation is doing. So Ummah is engaged in charitable work. Chow, can you hear me?
Yeah, a bit breaking, but it's okay.
Okay. So I'm saying, like, what is doing organization, and they employ people and impacting the society. You know, when you want to, a scholar also who engages into memorization. Look, at the end of the day, you must find something siloy dunda yowit. Now it is in two folds. Either ngadem kena mujel la ligi mulai fay ngay dunda si fay bobu non. Wala yow you go and create something nga wax nit yi fay lu ngay fay yow tam nga dundé fofu non, and you create employment and help others to also go inside. So it's two things. So that's why I said it's two things. If one resonates with you, you want to build a time for entrepreneurship and stuff, you can go get employment. But primarily, you have to be a master in your field. You have to understand what you are studying. So this is how I think the understanding should be.
Okay, that is indeed good. Good. Let me check on the chat box. Probably we may have a series of questions that we are asked.
Okay, I think I just, from Sarah Qureshi, is saying, I am not from Gambia, but I am quite motivated to start my cafe, which have been planning it from my grade 1. Sarah, go ahead, start it. I'm glad that I was able to actually put, you know, that motivation that you can actually run away with the idea you have. You know, start it, go ahead with it, and then do whatever you think that is the best thing. I'm sure you would never regret it. Go ahead with it, and you know, I think you also an IOU student. You can link with Chow in any way that you think that I could be helped in terms of, you know, whatever, just to share and guide. I would be more than willing, you know, to be in contact. Please do go ahead. I think this is a great thing. Start the cafe, and you know, a lot of things can come. Good things are there.
Inshallah. Okay, we have one from
previously.
Yeah.
Somebody saying from Modou is saying guidance on how to balance between the two ends of searching for higher knowledge and enjoying life with maximum chilling. But balancing seeking for knowledge, higher knowledge in fact for that matter, and enjoying life with maximum chilling should be a responsible one. It depends on what you mean by chilling to you. Okay, chilling could be subjective to based on different people. Okay, but when you know, even if it is not about studies, even if it's not about education, but before you get into anything, it must have been predetermined by a person that is getting you inside it. So that predetermination is the person. So once you get a passion for that, after, you see, sometimes myself, after every semester, I do this. After every semester, I give myself a tap in the back. And you know what tap in the back I do? I go to Domino's, to one of the pizza shops at the mall, and I sit down there myself, eat good food, then go back home alone. I wouldn't go with any friend. Wow. And I wouldn't even post that and whatever, just eat that and go back and sleep. So it depends to you. You know, to me, that's how I'm also rewarding myself for the whole semester of running up and down and stuff like that. So after the semester is done, I just go to the mall, treat myself like the Sanya Kundanka way.
Would that be a party style of rejuvenating one's strength after a very tough semester?
I'm telling you, it's called rejuvenation, in fact.
Sure.
Yeah. So back to the expectations. Some people said it was going to be some good reminders. I hope I was able to give you a few reminders. And then expecting to learn something new. I hope you have learned something new. Some also said motivations. I hope you were motivated. You know, self-improvement and development. I hope you were able to get something here that will self-improve yourself. You know, I only hope I lived up to your expectations. You know, we only try our best to deliver, but like I said, we are all on the process of mastery.
Sure. Would you have any closing remarks, Mr. Fatih? Maybe something beneficial, something that you want to close with? That will be, yeah.
All right, what I want to close with is two. One is, we all live in the Gambia, and we all know how polarized the Gambia is. But in as much as it's polarized, we as agents, we as youngsters, we as students of knowledge, we should be agents of bringing a change that would be beneficial and remind the people. The division that is there, we should be custodians of the divisions that are already present. I always say this because I so much believe it. And when I believe in something, I keep on repeating it. That is the Wolof have beautifully said. Rero amut. Wainyaka wahtana am. Uni wahtana rek nyujubo. And we must strive to seek the unity present in our diversity. And go my people to say, you can be who are for you. Am I audible now? So I'm saying that we can be who we are. Your identity is important. But don't take your identity as superior and others' identity as inferior to yours. So this is something that I want to leave you all with. And then the second thing is, Chow can share every year. I do this campaign for Team Iftar on Ramadan, and Ramadan is coming. So if you want to participate in changing lives and also gaining yourself a reward in both dunya and akhirah, you can reach out to Chow. I'm accepting cash donations, and these cash donations would be delivered to Team Iftar as they prepare for this Ramadan campaign, which we are all witnessing. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. So you can reach out to Chow if you want to give your donations or contributions towards that program. I would really be helpful. And these are the two things I want to close up with. Thank you very much. It was a great thing, and I am very humbled that I was able to be chosen out of the lot to share this. And Kausu has, trust me, Kausu has been following me since last year. It's been a long time, but Alhamdulillah, today is the day that has been destined. And we hope and pray that all the things that we have said here, if it does not go with the sawab, is not what we intended. But what we intended was just khair and just to put transmission of knowledge, and we can all exchange. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, brother, also for the trust.
Sure. Thank you. Jazakallahu khairan